You've worked in the F&O space for nearly 15 years, first as a consultant running major implementations, then as a partner, now running your own training company. What patterns do you see repeated across F&O implementations when it comes to preparing organizations for go live?
I would say probably one of the biggest patterns that I see that ultimately doesn't help the F&O implementations is to see the change management and training as sort of like separate pathways or separate functions than the project management function. Or, I mean, they are sort of separate from the way that it works, but I think just seeing the training and change management activities as a sort of a side thing, not really seeing it as a part of the project tasks is one of the things I think that doesn't help to a lot of F&O implementations. When we see success in F&O implementations, really training and change management is sort of embedded into other project tasks, and that's when we see a lot more successful implementations, because ultimately adoption or better adoption is what makes F&O implementation successful. Technology is important, how it's implemented is important, but if you cannot get people to use the software, you're not going to get the benefits that you hoped you would get from the implementation.
Yeah. Is that just a lack of understanding of change management in general, or is that this component we'll see if we can save money, and if we have to, we'll bring it back in?
I think it's sort of both. I think culturally, the way that D365 implementations are sold by partners and Microsoft separates the change management and training elements from the implementation elements. So I think that's sort of the starting point. So from the beginning, the conversation is around how much it's going to cost us to implement D365, and training and change management is not part of that conversation. At the end, that is also going to cost you money. So I think it makes maybe the implementation partners nervous to talk about that topic because it's one more thing that the customers have to pay for. So I think it's easier for them to just take this, I think we'll talk a little bit about it later on, the train the trainer approach, and then basically saying that you're responsible from training. So, and which I don't have any problems with. I think the expectation is there, but I don't think customers really truly understand. It's still going to cost them. The training and adoption is going to cost them, whether or not they do it internally with their internal resources or they hire someone else to do it. Somebody has to do it. I think the expectation that it's going to be somehow free because we are going to they're going to do it with internal resources, it's an understatement, because those resources are just not going to be able to do it alongside with all the things that they have to do still.
Yeah. Which
Go ahead.
No, you go. I was going to say this ties into the next question, but finish what you
Yeah,
were
I
going
was
to
also
say.
going to say that I think what I see in a lot of projects also, if the customer has project management team who has experience in implementing ERPs in the past, not even necessarily D365, I tend to see a little bit better understanding of the importance of adoption and training. So they will have a different type of perspective, and they will demand more from Microsoft or from the implementation partner, or they will seek other resources like my company and other organizations and say, we feel like this plan that we have in place is not going to be sufficient. So I think that also can play into making sure that certain resources and time is allocated to the adoption activities.